Oronde K. Mitchell. I'm a city councilman in Montgomery, Alabama, representing District 6. It is so exciting when you have somebody young that's reaching out to you with an idea that they came up with, the research that they did themselves, and that's a product of Montgomery Public School System. We hear so many negative things about Montgomery Public School System that sometimes we don't shine a light on the positive things. So when this young man reached out to me and say, hey, first of all, I'm in your district. Second of all, will you support me? So I had a series of questions that I wanted to ask him. And I want to be tough on those questions because I know those questions will come from other people that don't have the same good motives as I do for us, motivating him to move forward in this endeavor that he's about to embark on. So with further ado, I want him to introduce himself and then we can get on with the conversation.
Hi, my name is Jeremiah Treece. I am the Alabama Youth Chief Justice of Alabama Supreme Court. I attend Booker T. Washington Magnet High School, where I am a senior, where I take law as well.
So Jeremiah, let me ask you a couple of questions. Have you always been in Montgomery Public School System?
Yes, I've been in Montgomery Public School System ever since kindergarten. I went to Macmillan. Then I went to Johnny Carr Magnet, and then I was at Baldwin Magnet for a year, and now I'm at BTW.
So how has the Magnet School helped you in your endeavors for us, what you're trying to do?
I would say I started off, I was really into theater and musical theater. That was one of my biggest passions. Being a little kid, we used to go to programs. I went to go see Mary Poppins when they came down. So theater was just always a big part. So at Macmillan, they really put me into the choirs and the theaters where I was really able to showcase my talent, and it really showed me off. I did honor choir for 2 years, and I was just really a part of the theater world at Macmillan. So I always thought that'll be something that I'm in basically forever. At Johnny Carr, I took those same classes, theater, choir, and I actually got the part of Ruby Bridges' little brother when they did the Ruby Bridges show at Alabama Shakespeare Festival. We started the show. It was an amazing show. Ruby Bridges and some other people actually came to the show. That's why I have on the tie now. She signed the tie. She got to talk to us, and it really, that was a very monumental part of my life because I didn't know where I was going to be moving forward. But I think realizing the history of Ruby Bridges, the story that she has, that was a huge aspect in my life. Moving forward from there, I ended up going to BTW, which is where I took a big shift. That's when I joined the Law Magnet. And with the Law Magnet, I ended up joining the mock trial team. The mock trial team is basically we go and we compete against other teams from all over Alabama with a case that they give us. Sometimes it's a civil case and sometimes it's a criminal case, and we go at it. We have witnesses, we have attorneys, and we're able to really get into it with each other and debate and have really good conversations and arguments. And we're able to do the case from the start of an opening all the way down to the ending of a closing argument. Doing those skills, it really pushed me in a way that I never thought I'd do before, but it allowed me to keep that theatrical aspect, yes, as in doing that opening statement, a closing, or being that witness, or being that detective, or whatever I was at that moment. Moving on from mock trials, I ended up doing youth legislature, which is another program they have with the YMCA. I was able to write an ordinance for this. I was able to write a bill for the state of Alabama. Okay. And we proposed bills. We went down to the actual Capitol building and we were proposing. You do this with students from all over Alabama. Okay. So it's a lot of different opinions and a lot of different thoughts, and it's a lot. But we go down there for a whole weekend and we really just get to have at it and have a ball, get to debate. My first year, I ended up winning the Outstanding First Year Award. Okay. So moving forward, I continue with those programs throughout my high school experience. Last year, I decided to run for Chief Justice, which I ended up winning. And there were, I think, 3 other candidates running up against me from all over Alabama. And I ended up winning the competition, winning that aspect of the competition. And now I've been representing Montgomery Public Schools and the city of Montgomery.
Okay, let me ask you a question. We hear so many negative things about MPS as a whole and the students at MPS. Mm-hmm. How did that make you feel? How did that motivate you to what you're trying to accomplish now?
One thing I've always heard is negativity definitely, like a lot of people like to speak on negativity more than the positive things.
That's right.
There is so many positive things that happen in Montgomery Public Schools. And one thing I always like to tell people is the new generation has so much that we're doing and so much going on. I started a business when I was 13 years old, making T-shirts and mugs and cups. Anything you think of, I was doing custom items. I ended up going to concerts, doing it for artists and making clothes for artists such as like rappers, Pooh Shiesty and people like that when they were just starting up. Now I have friends that are doing hair, makeup, nails. Like friends, they have their own studios, they have their own everything. But I feel like that those things don't really get spoken on in the city, and they don't get highlighted as much because they're not negative. So when we have a lot of the people that are in our schools going to college, when we have students going to Harvard, when we have students writing ordinances and bills that are, you know what I'm saying, changing the state of Alabama and the city of Montgomery.
So let's talk about when you first called me, and we're going to get into the reason why you called me. When you first called me, we had a great conversation, and I just happened to be on the phone with Dr. Robinson, who's a historian at Alabama State University. And before I tell the crock of the matter why we're on here, Dr. Robinson was so impressed about, first of all, how young you were, that you knew what you wanted to do. You had the reasons, and you could articulate it. So I want you to get into why you called me and what you're trying to do so they can understand and give you the same support that I'm giving you.
Well, the reason I first called you was the city currently has a flag that was adopted in 1952 during the Jim Crow segregation era. The city flag of Montgomery, it was started at the Civil Rights Movement. They gained the flag at the beginning of the Civil Rights Movement. It was basically a big hit to the Civil Rights Movement because they wanted to let everybody know that they were standing on business. That's what we like to call it, stand on business. They believed in what they believed in, which was all men aren't created equal.
That's correct.
The whole flag basically is symbolism of the Confederacy. A lot of people look at the flag and says it looks the exact same. When you look at it, there's a blue stripe and a gray stripe, and then they have 7 stars on the flag, and then there's a wreath in the middle, and that wreath basically is around the 7 stars for the 7 original states of the Confederacy, and the wreath symbolizes glory and honor. So seeing that flag, I was in a program with the YMCA again, writing ordinances to help the city of Montgomery. Students from all over, private schools, public schools, everybody coming together, and I was sitting next to the flag. And at first I didn't know much of it, but once I went and I did a little research and I read up on it, I was like, okay, this is not cool. This is not something that I feel like the city, the heart of the civil rights movement, all of the movements that we're trying to make moving forward, this is not something that I feel like we should be still showcasing. This is not a symbol that we would want to keep.
So let me ask you, now you talked about the wreath, you talked about the 7 stars. Can you break down the colors in the flag as well? What do those colors represent?
Yes, when you look up the symbolism of the flag, it says that there's blue and gray, and basically the blue and gray denotes the unity of today. They're basically saying that even though we are unified now, that the Confederacy still was powerful, and they believed in what they believed in. They weren't changing anything.
So now we're going to talk about some of the naysayers. So a lot of people are going to say, what will changing the flag, just like we have changed the name of schools, what do changing the flag do for my generation, your generation, and the generation that comes after you? What do the changing of that flag to you represents?
One thing that I will say, because I have heard that a lot, what does changing the flag do? We just changed the names of the schools and it still hasn't done anything. Changing the name of the schools actually has created a very positive environment in the schools. One of the biggest things that I've heard from teachers and students is a lot of those students are able to take a lot of pride in their school. They're having games, they're repping their schools. You see them out at Walmart, you see them out everywhere with their school attire on. They're ready, they're coming to school every day prepared to learn. I've talked to a media coordinator at Percy Julian, and she was telling me how basically in the last year, ever since the name changed everything, their fights have went down, their academics have went up. I was just on a tour over the summer with a lot of every high school in NPS sent students where we went on college tours, and we were able to go to FAMU, Millsaps College, Jackson State, colleges all over the southern region, and we had no issues. Everybody was very positive, and everybody was happy to be there. A lot of the students, they were ready to, excel moving forward. So one of the things that I'll say that this will help moving forward is one of the biggest things in the city now is it's a lot of division. There's a lot of division in our school system. There's a lot of division in the public figures. There's a lot of division just everywhere. So one of the most things that the flag can do is symbolize unity. It can symbolize that we're moving forward and we're trying to stop the separation. We want to come together. We want to build something better. We want to make this city better.
And we talked about what you want to do, why you want to do it. Now tell us how you want to do it.
My first step in doing this was to create a petition. I have a petition on change.org. It's change.org/change the MGM flag. I have over 1,000 signatures on that petition right now. And basically people are able to go. It doesn't take any money. There's no money at all. You can go online, sign the petition, and that's your way as a community of saying, hey, we believe this should happen. We believe in this change, and they believe in us. They believe in the youth. This is the best way for the new generation. I've had so many people in my generation in high school reaching out to me like, hey, we love this. How can we help? How can we support? They've been putting flyers everywhere. I heard somebody text me, they're like, hey, your flyers in Dollar General. I don't know if it was my grandma or I don't know if it was them, but I know they've been helping me work. They've been helping me get into these churches. I've been going to churches almost every Sunday. I'm at a different church, telling the church, hey, what's going on? Letting them know how they can help, and helping elderly people scan the QR codes and get in and sign that petition on their end too.
Now let's talk about replacement.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to remove it, what do you plan on replacing it with, and how do you plan on designing? Talk to them and tell us, what are you going to replace it with?
One of the biggest things I know going to a performing arts school is there is so much creativity, not just in my school, but in Montgomery Public Schools overall. And if we're wanting to say that we're doing this for the future and we're doing this for the students, one of the best ways to do that is to get the Montgomery Public School students to create the next flag. My proposal is to basically allow 8th through 12th grade students to come up. They'll be able to design a flag. They can draw it. They can edit it on a computer, however they feel comfortable doing it. They come up with a flag design and then send in a paper basically explaining what everything on that flag stands for to them, why they feel like it would be a good choice for the city of Montgomery. And the mayor has done it before. He's put together groups and councils to pick new names for roads and different things like that. So he definitely would be able to put together a council of people in all different walks of life that's in the city of Montgomery to come and help choose a new flag.
So let me ask you a question. When it came to support from your family, so what did your mom, your dad say when you said, you know what, I want to change the flag, the seal of Montgomery, I want to change it? What did your parents say?
I live in a single mom household. My mom worked for the state of Alabama in the pardons and paroles for over 15 years. Okay. And then she decided to resign. So she's always been supportive of everything I've done. Like I said, one thing about my mom, when I started making shirts, she ended up coming on the road with me. We get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, ride to Georgia. We ride to Pensacola, Florida. We were in the mall some days selling shirts because at one point it became way bigger than shirts. We were just selling clothing overall. We had clothes in stores in Millbrook. We had clothes in local stores here. So my mom has always been supportive of everything I've done. She hasn't missed the mock trial. She hasn't missed anything in my life. She's always been there. So one thing I'll say, my mom and my grandma, they both were in full support. They told me if this is something I really want to do, go for it.
So one other thing, I want you to look at the camera and talk to not only the youth, but talk to the citizens of Montgomery. Why it's so important that we change this flag and move forward. Like the mayor always quote, we're not the old Montgomery, we're the new Montgomery. So tell them in your own words why it's so important to do this.
One of the main reasons that it's so important to do this is because symbols matter. Everything around you matters. The people you have around you matter. Your digital footprint matters. Your ID, everything. And a symbol is basically another way of showcasing who you are. A symbol is one of the first things that people see before they're able to meet you. If I'm walking around with a City of Montgomery pin on my jacket right now in Washington, which I was when I had the opportunity to go there, a lot of people, they want to know, what does that stand for? What does that mean? And when you tell them that basically, oh yeah, I'm from the City of Montgomery, where we feel like all men aren't created equal, that's basically what you're walking around saying with that flag. So We deserve to have new symbols. We deserve to have new monuments. We deserve to create new history. That's the whole aspect of life. Everybody has a history, but you're able to create new history. So like Mayor says, we are not the old Montgomery. We are a new Montgomery. We are a better Montgomery. And we're going to be a better Montgomery moving forward. Not just for us, not just for our generation, but for all the generations to come.
And one other question before we go, because I know people say, well, don't erase my history. Are you trying to exclude anybody? Are you trying to include? What are you trying to do when it comes to your flag, the design, and changing it?
The name of the petition is Grow from History. That's the biggest aspect. It's no point of changing history. You can't change history. Once something is done, it's done. I can crash my car 5 minutes ago. After it's crashed, it's crashed. I can't go back to it. So once that history is made, it will never change. That flag is always going to be something that people are going to look back at and remember that was a day. That was a day. So I feel like moving forward, we should be able to create new history. We should be able to get new flags. And once the city council votes on making a new flag, and we have a new student that comes in that's been in Montgomery public school system that has drew up this beautiful new flag in the city of Montgomery that gets signed in by the mayor, we should be able to look at that day and say, that was a good day.
So you heard it here first. My guy Jeremiah, and I'm so happy because he stayed in my district, District 6. And if you know me, I am a big advocate for students. Everything I do is geared towards making sure that the people I represent are well represented. And I'm just not that person that just talk about things. When he called me, I reached out and said, let's do this immediately. I want his story to be told, whether he does it or he has to pass it on. But this is something that I'm going to champion. I'm going to stand on the side of him, behind him, and in front of him if I need to. Because anytime you see a young man, especially a young man, because we see so many of our young men in the news, on the TV for things that's not favorable for us. Now you're seeing somebody that's stepping up. I just want to make sure we're stepping up with him. Whether you agree or disagree, it should be about encouraging this young man to do what he feels in his heart he shall do. So until the next time you hear from us again, I hope it'll be at the city council with him having a resolution in his hand, presenting to the city council. I'll see you next time. Thank you.
Just move on up. My peace you can find into the steeple of beautiful people where there's only one kind. So hush not, child.